Good morning. My name is Diane Anderson. I am an Arizona Master Naturalist and board member of the Friends of the Tonto National Forest. And I want to thank all of you in advance for giving me the opportunity to share with you who we are, what we do, and how our mission and project goals might overlap with what the other organizations in this alliance are doing here in Arizona. Our purpose, I'll give you a little history. In 2014, a group of volunteers and retired Forest Service specialists approached the Tonto National Forest leadership about the idea of creating a Friends type organization to get the public more involved in the enjoyment and management of the nearly 3 million acres of landscapes that encompass the Tonto National Forest. The group was formally incorporated as a 501c3 nonprofit in 2015 with the express purpose to protect, conserve, and promote appreciation and enjoyment of the ecological, cultural, scenic, and recreational resources and values of the Tonto National Forest. And since our founding, the Friends have engaged with communities, youth groups, and other nonprofits to promote public understanding of the rich natural and cultural resources found on the Tonto. Since 2016, we have clocked over 19,000 volunteer hours across our different programs, bringing additional resources and much needed boots on the ground to help collect data, restore habitat, and maintain public use areas. This gives you an overview of where we operate. Several of our programs are located not too far from the metropolitan areas and foothill communities surrounding the Tonto. Many of these programs and project sites can be accessed without four-wheel drive. And for the more adventurous, we have other programs that will give you an opportunity to explore breathtaking areas in the forest that are far less traveled and require hikes anywhere from 1 mile to 10 miles round trip. Now, how do we fit into the regional open space strategy? We think our programs support different elements of each of these four strategic goals, but the strongest overlap probably falls in the realm of raising awareness by connecting with people and connecting them with nature through our on-the-ground restoration projects and interpretive recreational opportunities we offer. More specifically, under our partners agreements with the Tonto National Forest, we mobilize volunteers in these 5 major program areas. The first is we monitor riparian areas to assist forest ecologists in assessing the health of watersheds and ecosystems. We undergo both large and small scale removal of invasive species to promote native biodiversity and to maintain healthy fire regimes. We support national monarch habitat initiatives that include planting, watering, and monitoring milkweed at a few different locations on the Tonto. I'll get into those a little later. 4, one of our newest programs is assisting the Forest Service with their water source inventory. This is critical to maintaining water rights on our public lands for use by wildlife and other authorized uses. And then 5, we maintain and improve important recreational and cultural resource sites at 2 locations as part of the Tonto's larger Adopt a Site program. So our first program, over about 30 years ago, one of the specialists hired by the Tonto Forest recognized the value of collecting repeat photography for documenting resource conditions, and he initiated a Riparian Photopoint monitoring program. So that was back in 1988, along important reaches of riparian habitat on the Tonto. He then, since then, employees and other volunteers have taken photographs at these same exact sites each year to document vegetation and stream bank conditions. We began managing this program on behalf of the Forest Service in 2015. And so if you or any of your members in your groups are looking for a good reason to get the family outdoors, to explore the Tonto, you can generate some valuable information for our forest managers at the same time. New volunteers are always welcome. There's virtual training available, and you can use your own camera or smartphone. And I'll give you an example. We'll zoom in on just one location here on Sycamore Creek. And at each of these locations, you'll see this batch of successive images that nothing tells a story like a good set of photographs here. The forest ecologists and researchers can use the information they get out of just these pictures to assess impacts of livestock management, flooding, fire, and drought. We take both upstream and downstream photos at, and this is pretty impressive, I think, 928 individual sites found along 115 different washes and streams across the Tonto. So it's a pretty wide area. And all this information and that map I showed you on the previous slide is available for public to view using this interactive Google mapping interface at photopoints.friendsofthetonto.org. And if anyone's interested in participating in this program, they can contact Patty Fenner. Her email address is right there at the bottom of the slide, and I'll show all the emails at the end of the presentation as well. Our next program is our grass removal project in the Superstition Mountains. The Friends began surveying and mapping for fountain and buffalo grasses in the Lost Dutchman State Park and Western Superstitions starting in 2015. And the state park was quickly cleared of these grasses, but we continue to monitor the park for any new infestations. And then surveys in the Tonto lands revealed significant quantities of fountain grass and a lot of patches of buffalo grass that we mapped and identified using the ArcGIS collector app, which I know some of the other members here are familiar with. So to set a realistic goal for the volunteers, the group first established a buffalo and fountain grass free zone in 2016 to help focus the volunteer efforts and to try to keep that area free of grasses. But since then, that area has expanded to cover over 2,000 acres, and we're currently working with the Forest Service to establish protocols for monitoring in the Superstition fire burn area. We're also talking about maybe adding what can we do with brome and other invasives. So we've got some exciting things coming down here. From October through April, we hold these grass removal events, and the information's here on the next slide, that we meet every second and fourth Saturday. And these are the upcoming dates. We meet at 8 a.m. at the Jacobs Crosscut and Massacre Grounds Trailhead parking lot. And the projects always finish in time to be back at the parking area by noon. And you can register on site using the link I have here. And we recently moved our sign-in documents to be online also to reduce contact during the meetup area. Everybody needs to bring their own water, gloves, and a mask, and a lot of energy to come out and help us remove those weeds. And we also have some training available for anyone that wants to learn how to use the GIS tools and the mapping if they want to do more than just pull weeds. Then our next program is the Milkweed for Monarchs. We started this as part of the international effort to support the monarch butterflies habitat, increasing the quality of that habitat along their migration corridor from Canada to Mexico. And working with Forest Service biologists, a new strategy was deployed where instead of contracting with commercial nurseries to grow plants, seedlings were grown by Friends volunteers using desert milkweed collected from naturally occurring populations along Bush Highway. And instead of using plastic tubes, the seedlings were grown in biodegradable seed bags. In mid-November, the milkweed seedlings were planted at Wildcat Staging Area, which is on the Cave Creek Ranger District, and the Fondee Sutton Recreation Site on the Mesa District. You can look back at those earlier map slide to get yourself oriented. And we go back periodically to water these sites. There are 15 milkweed seedlings that were outplanted at each site. Most of them survived. I think we've only had to replace 2, and they're doing really well. We will continue to water as weather dictates. New volunteers are always welcome to help us do that watering and then to start monitoring for any signs of the butterfly eggs and larvae. And if you're interested in that program, you can contact Susan at friendsofthetonto.org. Our fourth program is our water source inventory project that we mentioned. It is, of course, important for the Tonto to maintain the water rights that they have to continue this project of accurately mapping and documenting all the water sources on the forest. Because ultimately these water rights belong to the public and need to be retained and available for wildlife. So we, this data, once it's collected, is of course going to be used for all their future environmental analysis, watershed management decisions, and the important adjudication of these water rights. And We are looking for volunteers this is an ambitious project. There's a lot of areas that are hard to get to. So we're looking for folks with the 4-wheel drive, high clearance vehicles and that don't mind some nice hiking. So this would be a great opportunity for those types of volunteers that would like to get out, explore some less traveled areas of the forest and help collect some very valuable information. And then our Adopt-A-Site programs, where the Tonto is, of course, home to thousands of archaeological sites, the oldest stretching back nearly 12,000 years. One of our board members is a retired Forest Service archaeologist, so we definitely have some wonderful in-house expertise, and we work on the upkeep of 2 different sites, which I'll talk about here shortly. The Shoofly Village ruin up in the Payson district. This is one of the newer areas that we're helping maintain, and we certainly, after the bushfire, were called in and worked with the Arizona Conservation Corps to start repairing this site. We cleared it with brush of weeds and repaired some of the trails and interpretive signage and stuff along that trail. So this has been a good starting point to keep that site maintained, and we'll have some future volunteer opportunities coming down the pike. And our other site, which is a little closer to most of us, is the Sears-Kay ruin site. And through this agreement, we maintain the day use area, the trail, and we provide interpretive brochures to complement the on-site signage every year in March. And we have something coming up this March 7th. We have an open house there at 9 a.m. And then our resident archaeologist, Scott Wood, will give some guided tours of the site at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. And this is located off of Seven Springs Road, 6 miles east of Carefree. And it'd be a wonderful opportunity for us to get to know you or anyone else that wants to come out and learn a little bit about this site and a little more about what we do. And of course, bring your masks and plenty of questions and energy. So with that, I'll start closing things down here. The Friends has worked in partnership with many other organizations. None of us can do any of all we do alone. And we've worked with businesses and schools and whatnot and chambers of commerce to help advance public awareness and appreciation of Arizona's biodiversity, our very unique landscapes and cultural resources. And we're looking forward to learn more about what the rest of the organizations attending this meeting today. I'd love to learn more about what you guys are doing. And with that, I want to thank you all for your attention. Please feel free to reach out to any one of the individuals here on this slide that are in charge of each of the respective programs. I'm there at the bottom, Diane Anderson. I'm sort of the liaison. So if you have any questions about how could we help with what things you guys are doing, please let us know and we'll see where we can find some synergy and help us all advance our common mission and purpose and focus on Arizona's biodiversity and nature. So with that, again, thank you very much for your time.